how did all started? Japan was the center of the world where technology was concerned. Computers were no different for that. Can you tell us a bit about this specific moment when you decided to do the MSX? How was Japan back then for computing?
1981, 1981, IBM PC was being developed. And we all knew IBM PC is going to be the world standard. At that time, the price of IBM PC was $1,000.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. I felt there is going to be a room under $1,000 PC. We wanted to do not just IBM PC at Microsoft. I wanted to do low-end computer, regardless of 8-bit or 16-bit. But if we use 16-bit, that computer is going to be in competition with IBM. That's we wanted to avoid. So we selected the most advanced 8-bit Z80 and created a personal computer based on that. That was MSX, but we made a mistake. There was going to be a big competitor of MSX. That was second-hand IBM PC.
Oh.
IBM PC maintained $1,000, and the speed is getting faster. The video is getting better and better. We see people who bought better IBM PC sold old IBM PC, and that has been on the market. So MSX's competitor was old second-hand IBM PC. In the long run, that was the reason MSX became low, not defeated, because there is still many people. Today, no one uses 8086-based IBM PC. These low-end, second-hand, third-hand, fourth-hand, fifth-hand PC is almost dead. But fortunately, we are alive today. Thanks to many users. I'm very happy for that.
I have one right behind there, a Panasonic machine.
At 93, 94, I gave up developing new machine because I felt there is no room. About 8 years ago, when in the world, IoT, Internet of Things, becoming very popular, I started researching Internet of Things at the University of Tokyo. I came up with this idea using MSX 122 plus as the engine for low-cost, super low-cost IoT computer. That is the beginning of MSX 0. So I came up with this groove interface for analog, digital, I2C sensors and actuators connecting to MSX 0. At the same time, I once made an effort to make MSX to be SoC, one chip. We had a product called MSX one chip MSX. The first one chip MSX was not a big success because they only repeated MSX 2 and 2 plus. Why are you going to buy same computer twice? The answer is no. I should have made at that time MSX3 with MSX one chip MSX. At that time, the FPGA was relatively small. A few years ago, we decided to reinvent MSX one chip again and bring up MSX3, new generation CPU, faster CPU, 700 megahertz R800, and 32-bit processor, and 2K and 4K LCD new video television standard support, HDMI.
HDMI, right.
New CPU, faster CPU, new video, that's MSX3. So what we do now is MSX0 for totally new IoT. MSX3 for the next generation of MSX2, 2 plus turbo, and plus more. Today is the age of supercomputing, many core processor. We want to make many core processor very affordable to many people. If you buy 128 CPU from AMD, you have to pay $10,000. I want to make very cheap. If we are very wise selecting CPUs, making software to be transportable, I think we can make 64 or 128 supercomputer for less than $5,000.
This is
That's what
affordable.
that's what I want to make it happen. That's called MSX Turbo, not Turbo R. Turbo having many different
Many
CPU
cores.
selection. Yes,
I see.
that's the brief introduction of where we are now.
You start with one idea to compete with the PC on the low-end market, and then you moved now to something different. So, okay, I want to do things different from what PCs are doing. So that's an interesting take. How were the design principles that you used from the original MSX, and then you carried this out to this new machine? So you had some interesting ideas for the first MSX, like using off-the-shelf components, and now you're doing something different. So how is your design principle for that?
The very first MSX was made by off-the-shelf components, Z80 processor, 9918 video display processor, and Yamaha music synthesizer. These off-the-shelf products. Then the next generation, we made faster CPU and we made better video. 9938, 9958 has been the chipset we designed, we made. We designed, we made a chip. We asked Yamaha to design the chip, and that's what happened. In the development, progress of computers is very simple. Faster, 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 faster.
Yeah, true.
Better video, better video, better video, and better sound. We have been following that for one generation. The second generations at around the 1990, we tried to do the second generation video chip, actually third generation video chip, 9978. And 9978 was completed, but the specification was not compatible. Specification was not binary compatible. So I decided to cancel that chip and rename the chip and sold the chip to Pachinko, 9990.
9990, right.
Plus more. I mean, after MSX, what the big paradigm change happened in the area of computer. That is the appearance of internet. All the computer was going to be connected to internet.
Yes.
That's what MSX didn't make. So now what I want to do is make new MSX and connecting to internet and supporting 2K, 4K, 8K video.
So kind of future-proof in that case.
Yes, there is already a domain called personal computers dictated by Windows and Mac OS. I'm not going to compete with them. The second one is smartphone. There is Android and iOS, Google and Apple computer.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to compete with that too, neither. What we are going to do is I want to make a box or the laptop which can support 2K, 4K, 8K video, and mainly used for video machine. Editing video, the video games, that kind of thing, besides IoT. IoT is a different community. Small Raspberry Pi type businesses. That's another category. So the IoT base and television computer base, internet connected television computer. That's MSX3. And of course, supercomputer.
Basically, you're looking for three different areas. So for people doing device control, people looking to have like a a smarter TV in the living room, plus people wanted to have a supercomputer. So those are like 3 different ways you're going to incarnate the MSX3.
Exactly.
I see. And that brings me to my next question, because one of the things the MSX was really good is that it had a lot of apps that made it useful. So you had like graphic editors, you had word processors, there were music studios, and there were even MSX that were used for video producing in Japan, like adding subtitles, pictures over video. So there were very interesting things that were done with the standard. Maybe this question can be answered in 2 ways. One, looking back into the past, what was the most interesting professional use the original MSX had? Going forward, what would you like people to do with the MSX3 to make it like a unique machine?
Well, most fun is using MSX as a game machine. User can program and make games. So many people only playing games. You push 1 million times Nintendo, you can't still program. You just fire the thing.
You just have fun.
Yeah, you type MSX, you program, and you become computer programmer. That has been the biggest use of MSX.
That's how I became a programmer myself. I
Yes,
started
yes,
programming with the MSX.
yes. I met many people who say to me, because of MSX, I become programmer. Because of MSX, I become computer engineer. My biggest pleasure is hearing that. That was the energy. I want to create, I want to induce many people to join computer. Today, too many computers are only software. In the Raspberry Pi, I can't see inside because it's single chip. Apple's M1, Apple's M2, too big to understand. Nowadays, AMD CPU becoming too complex, all through software. There is always the people who wants to play with hardware, who wants to understand everything. In order to understand entire system of software and hardware, MSX is really a good entry machine.
So basically, you're looking forward to something that people can not only use, but they can actually look inside, see what lies beneath, and then grow from there. So basically, not only a computer that you can do all that fun stuff, but you can also, okay, if I solder some wires here and connect to a Shield device, I can control my fridge, I can open the garage door, some things like that.
Personal computer today is a device to write text, device to compute with spreadsheet, and device to access internet, reading mails, viewing movie, listening music. Fine. Smartphone is a device. You make telephone calls, you make conference, video phones, and apps, daily life applications, electric funds transfer, Amazon type of thing. I want to make a device where you sit on the television, in front of television, view the TV, or view the camera, the video-based, audio-based applications, audio video computer. Of course, today's PC, today's smartphone can do it, but with big screen, there is going to be a new fun and creative use of television will coming, I believe.
Do you think that there may be some TV manufacturer like Sony, Toshiba, they could get interested into embed one of those new devices to make, let's say, the TV funnier right out of the box?
I hope so, but the very beginning, no one will have MSX3 in the television. Before that, I have to make MSX3 television small box and sell that a lot. Then some television manufacturer start paying attention to that.
So you're going to build the ecosystem and then drive people to look into it.
Yes, today, when you pound the TV, there is going to be a menu of pictures. I want to treat pictures, my files, my CDs on the same level. When I power on these intelligent television, I want desktop, not menu.
How to make it accessible for most people.
Yes.
And one thing that you mentioned about people getting into programming, I recall that back in the day, there were magazines in Japan that like MSX Magazine or MSX Fan, that they had like pages with programs that people send into the magazine. Even in Brazil, it was the same. People would send source code to the magazine. They would print for people to type at home. How was that experience in Japan for the original MSX? And do you see some sort of at least internet-based forum forming along the MSX3 so people can share what they do?
Yes, yes. These days, magazines are the only media for distributing the information. Then internet comes. Internet is going to be the big potential for magazine equivalent. That is going to come. I have one regret. I kept MSX magazine only at the entry magazine. I didn't ask to put advanced, complicated programming and hardware engineering on MSX magazine because MSX magazine is entry magazine. This time we have three categories. Actually, three categories: MSX0, MSX1, 2, 3, and MSX Turbo. I think we need 3 magazines to cover 3 different categories.
Or if it's, let's say, some sort of internet site that could be like different sections so that people could go to what they really love about it.
Exactly.
So from your experience, that idea was good, but because MSX Magazine was not advanced, people would still stay at a basic level. But people were looking the magazine to learn how to program as well.
Yes, as you grow, as you advance, we need a different level of solution. I am very grateful that in Brazil, in Spain, in Holland, in Italy, still after 40 years of MSX, big group of people who play with MSX. As a proposer of MSX, I feel I am responsible for delivering future. I also think I have in my garage, I have many Apple junk. I have Apple II, I have
really?
Apple II, I have Apple IIe, I have Apple III, I have original Macintosh, I have Visa, I have original Macintosh, I have iMac. Amazingly, these Apple computers are all incompatible. Steve Jobs keep abandoning computers he designed. No one accused that. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Are they
So
right?
they basically killed off their previous computer to go to the next one.
Yeah. Why avoiding? As a responsibility of engineer, designer, where is the responsibility of maintaining compatibility? Are you going to rescue Apple II user? Why there is no Windows software on Apple II? The answer is no. With today's technology, You can bring up Macintosh OS with additional CPU board and memory board. We did something very similar at Microsoft called Z80 soft card. We plug in Z80 into Apple II and bring up CPM and make so many 8-bit computer runnable on Apple II. And we had a very big reception. We had a very good response from the market.
Mhm.
I'm not accusing Apple Computer, but it will be wonderful in this world having at least one system like MSX who has software compatibility and hardware expansion path to higher standard. That's I want to challenge as the engineering subject.
Like how we bridge the old generation to the new one.
Yes, exactly. You can see old program on old television. I mean, you add the digital tuner to old television so that you can see the digital television today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. I mean, not 20%, less 20% people are going to upgrade hardware. Majority is going to buy new hardware. Why abandoning these minorities? Steve Jobs totally ignored old customer, old faithful customer. I can't do that.
And I think that Steve Jobs not only abandoned old customers, but he also made some old customers, or most old customers, love the idea that he was throwing away things and moving forward. There was this persona around Steve Jobs, and maybe that's why he succeeded, that he was able to convince people, hey, you need to get rid of the old to get the new I'm selling to you again.
Yeah, yeah, but is that right? I mean, as a philosophy of engineer, I want to respect all the systems and give the life. That's engineer's responsibility. I sincerely think from the bottom of my heart.
That's interesting because you're talking more about the experience as an engineer, and Steve Jobs was more of a business person. He stopped his engineering degree to pursue Apple, and he was more into business than anything else. It's kind of a conflicting emotion because for one side, we have to sell things to people, but at the same time, we want to serve them with good things. And from a business perspective, maybe that's not what makes more money. So that's an interesting challenge to take on.
Yes, yes. But thanks to the technology, thanks to the advancement of the semiconductor, we can realize my dream. While giving upgrade path to old computer, we can still propose new computer. I am very happy with that.
I'm really looking forward to see the MSX3 come to life.
Thank you.
One thing that you mentioned, that you were surprised that the MSX has a huge following in Italy, Spain, Holland, and in Brazil. In all European countries, it was Japanese manufacturers and Philips who brought MSX to those places. But in Brazil, it was two Brazilian companies who went after the standard. Gradiente and Epcon, yes. So how was working with them, because they were completely different from all the other companies doing MSX back in the day, I believe.
I didn't have direct experience working with Brazilian manufacturer. I don't know about this time. I think first MSXs will be exported to Brazil. I hope in the long run there is going to be a Brazilian company who makes MSX 0, MSX 3.
Probably people are going to use it over there. I don't know if they're going to manufacture, but some people are really looking forward to doing that.
Yes, we have been crowdfunding MSX 0, and the first trial was very successful.
I've seen it.
Toward the end of July, we will be shipping the first MSX 0.
Already, July this year?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
first in Japan, by the end of the year in Europe. But we are also thinking about offering to Brazil through Brazilian Amazon mail order.
Okay. Is this going to be available in Amazon Japan as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Amazon Japan, Amazon Brazil.
I ask about Japan because I currently I'm living in Canada, so I can buy from Amazon Japan. But I think that my friends back in Brazil, they will really like the idea that they can go to a shop in Brazil and buy it from there.
Yes, yes, yes. In the month of August, we'll take shipping about 4,000 crowdfunding customer. But in
It
the
makes
month
sense. They go first.
after that, Amazon Japan to universal customer of Amazon. We make it to be available this.
One question maybe for people looking forward to buy one of those units. How much do we expect to see the price at Amazon Japan for one MSX Zero?
Less than 40,000 yen.
Okay, so that's an affordable device. So that's about, I know that's not a fair comparison. That's about the price of a video game like the Switch or the PlayStation 4. So that's what people are going to look for in terms of paying for the unit.
US dollar, that is going to be definitely less than 300.
Okay, so less than a PS4 in the end. Okay, makes sense. That's an affordable price, especially for something that's starting small as a niche product for the moment.
Yes.
Besides the MSX3 initiative, there is some sort of follow-up to the one chip MSX. Some time ago, there's an Italian developer, KDL, who is doing the project that has been dubbed the MSX++. You were very happy to see him doing and authorized using the name going forward for this project. So how do you see this community involvement into making the MSX going forward as well, not only the MSX3 initiative?
Well, I don't have to be only one to control the future of MSX. So anyone who wants to make MSX should make, and multiple level of compatibility should be available. MSX, one chip MSX is really a good hardware. It is very pity we gave up updating that hardware. As long as the people interested, MSX1 engine, one chip MSX should alive. There is going to be 3 FPGA platform. One is one chip MSX. The second one is one chip MSX3. And there is going to be another FPGA platform using Xilinx highest end 64-bit CPU-based MSX engine 6. That is going to be a platform. There is going to be three platforms.
I see.
So 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit is our vision. Why we have so many different platforms? It's good to have that experience as the experience of engineering. And also we developed the Java language type of machine independent object code called TAOX, TAOX. That's the shell on top of Linux. And if you write TAOX virtual machine code, you run on 64-bit, 32-bit, 16-bit, and Windows,
Oh,
and Mac OS, and iPhone, and Android.
oh, that's interesting. So it's kind of a cross-compiling environment.
Yes, that's
Hmm.
we are developing.
That's a very interesting approach. So you're not looking only into the MSX, but also how you can go from there to something else.
Yes, vice versa.
That's very interesting. For those people who were part of the crowdfunding, did they participate in the design to give in some ideas? What you're expecting for this first group of people to be doing with the MSX Zero?
MSX0 is very much the outcome of our research and development at the University of Tokyo. When I become 60, I felt that was the last chance for me to be the university because National University's retirement is 65. So I spent 5 years at the University of Tokyo. That 5 years was IoT. We launched a product based on our research and development. That was crowdfunding one. Crowdfunding two will be coming, more sophisticated product. And crowdfunding for MSX3 is also planned. MSX3, excuse me for 10 seconds.
No problem.
I will bring MSX3 prototype.
Oh, awesome.
First in the world.
Whoa.
This is transparent keyboard.
That's nice.
This is, how do I say, the radiator. This is ROM cartridge.
Whoa.
This is motherboard. And here you see interconnection of module. This is MSX software development kit. No case. And here we have Yamaha FM synthesizer can plug in.
Oh.
So this can be a basic system. FM synthesizer, ROM cartridge, 2-slot, FPGA, and NVIDIA, Jetson, Orin, NX as the top product.
Okay, so that's a very advanced system. So I'm very happy to see it because can you show the connection side for us, please?
What side?
Because the other side, because you showed one side of the computer. Can we take a look on the other side to see, okay, which kind of connectors we have there? There are connectors for keyboard and everything else.
Keyboard connection is USB.
Okay, is this on the other side of the machine?
Yeah.
Okay.
On this engine, MSX engine.
Can we see this side you just pointed? Yes, like this. Okay, it's very small.
So this specific version is MSX Engine 3 and Jetson Orin together.
Okay. Do you think you can make a version that requires like a small radiator cooler, or is this something that is going to be hard to achieve?
Yeah, not so high with the Perchek element, Perchek module to do strong cooling. We don't have to have that big, radiator.
Okay, but seeing the computer like that, it's very interesting because it really has the MSX slots. It really connects to more modern hardware. So that means that promise to be able to run the original software and the new software is there, because the first prototypes didn't have these slots. So we're just seeing like the bare bones version, and this one seems much more complete.
Stackable. The original design included stackable hardware. We can even stack 16 Jetson.
So that's how you get the supercomputer.
Jetson having 8 CPU. Jetson having 8 CPU. So 16 of that is going to be 128 ARM. Very big number, like 8,000 GPU.
I'm surprised because I knew that it was in the plans, but seeing it, let's say, live is a different thing.
Yes. I wanted, we talk supercomputer every day. Nowadays, the day of AI, but where is supercomputer? There is going to be a voice of AI. There is going to be a supercomputer's name. Have you ever seen? Have you ever touched? Have you ever programmed? Not yet. I want to make everything there. At the price of Mercedes, I want to make supercomputer available. 10,000 CPU at the price of Mercedes. That's what I want to make it happen.
Okay, I think that for universities and research centers, that could be something.
Yes, yes. There are a lot of computer science students and computer science professor waiting for low-end, low-cost supercomputer as an entry device. Then after finishing this in 6 months or 1 year, you jump into professional supercomputing.
And now that you touched the point about the low-cost supercomputer, that's very interesting because my current job is about working on AI. We do use, let's say, a supercomputer infrastructure, but it's kind of rented out. So we don't own the machine. It's something that we can use because we do have the funding to pay for these services. But now you are showing something that, let's say, an university can purchase so that they don't have to pay those costs to a vendor. So they can make a one-time investment so that they can use that in their environment, save those costs because they don't need to pay for that very high-end supercomputer. They can just have something more modest or smaller that they can actually look, maintain, then people can learn how to use those other supercomputers.
Yes, yes.
So that's the vision for MSX3.
Yes. That's the
Turbo.
MSX3 Turbo.
Okay, so that's very interesting. What do you expect to see people doing with the MSX3 once it's out, especially the turbo version?
I don't know. That's up to the imagination of user. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is delivering the platform for everyone's dream.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
I don't want to be taking all your night because I know that it's kind of late in Japan. So I would like to first thank you for giving us this opportunity to reach out to you and to have this very nice conversation about the MSX future, a glimpse into how you came along all those 40 years. Is there a message you would like to send to MSX fans in Brazil and people who are reading the magazine for all those 40 years and maybe for the next 40?
We will be delivering MSX to Brazil for sure. I promise. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Dr. Nishi. That was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. We will see you soon again.
Yes, hopefully.
I'm looking for the opportunity to visit Brazil, some MSX gathering and launch MSX there.
That's good. I think that my colleague, Mario Cavalcanti, can help you out with that.
Thank you very much.
I will get him in touch with you because he goes to all those MSX gatherings. Because of the magazine, he knows a lot of people. So probably we can help you out to go to Brazil and find some partner to do this release. I think that they would be really interested. And I think that even Mario, he is interested in getting closer to the MSX3 initiative. So I will make sure that we talk to you about that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So
bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.